for me, it's like my life was never terrible, or like when I started when I started the podcast, The Mindset Mentor, like I was at a point in my life where I was making a whole bunch of money, and I was 27 years old, and I was making 250 grand a year, and I was working from home, and everything was great. But I felt like I was slowly withering away, and I could see what the future was going to be while I was there. And I said, okay, if I do this for another 5 years, and I'm 32 years old and I'm still doing this, or I have my manager's job, is that going to fulfill me? And it actually gave me more anxiety to think about having my manager's job. And then I sat there and I thought, okay, well, like, I really want to do this podcasting thing. It seems to be going pretty well. I want to coach people. I want to help people. And I also at the same time was like starting an Amazon business and trying to make money online and do that. And so I thought about it and I asked myself, okay, if I fast forward 5 years from today, do I want to be the person that's in sales management like I'm doing now and consulting? Do I want to be the guy that's selling stuff on Amazon and, incredible Amazon business person? Or do I want to be the guy that's coaching people and helping people change their lives? And the immediate answer was very clear: coaching people and changing their lives. And I was like, okay, well, that feels like it's the path. And then immediately comes up is all kinds of fear, because I don't know what I'm doing. Like back in the day, 2015, nobody made any money in podcasts. I didn't have any idea of how to grow a business, any of that type of stuff. But what was important to me was, number one, when I fast forwarded into the futures that I didn't want seemed way more painful than trying the unknown and what could be if I did take the path. And so that became more of a fear, like the fear of judgment, the fear of putting myself out there, other people's opinions. It was there. It's still there. And I don't know if you ever get past it, but you just kind of get more used to it. But the fear of being in the exact same position, working the same job, maybe making a little bit more money, doing this for every day until the day I die, was terrifying for me. That was a fear. And I was like, well, then this path of the unknown isn't as scary. And so I might as well take this path of the unknown. And I'll be fully transparent. There was, I shared this on like one other time, I think. There was a moment in 2015 where I started the podcast in August of 2015. November of 2015, I was feeling like a whole lot of fear. And I was like, I might have to go back and work for someone else again. And it was just, fear was so in my head. And I was like, I got to go back to making money. I got a new house. I got a mortgage. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm not making any money doing this. My sister came out to me, and I believe, if you're silent, the messages are always there. If you're looking, the messages are always there. My sister, I was at her house, and she goes, hey, have you ever seen this box of dad's stuff? And I was like, no. And she brought up, my father was an alcoholic. He passed away when I was 15 from his alcoholism. And she brought out this box, and it was like his glasses, it was a t-shirt of his, it was his watch. And the other things were a bunch of letters. My dad was in jail for a little while for multiple DUIs, and they put him in jail, and he would write letters to us. And he wrote a letter to my sister on her 19th birthday. And I was reading this, 2015. So he would have wrote it to her in 1999. And the very last line was, I hope you live your life with courage, love, and laughter. And I read it, and it was like the universe warped. And I was like, oh, he wrote this for me. Like there was a moment where I was like, he wrote this to my sister, but the universe is giving me this message through my dad because I need to hear this right now. Because I'm in so much fear. And the very first line is courage. Live your life with courage, love, and laughter. And I was like, I got to commit. Like this has to be the thing. I've got to make a decision. And when you look at the root word of decision, it's decadere, which means to cut off. I'm going to cut off all other options. I'd heard like Will Smith say, there's no reason to have plan B because it distracts from plan A. Like it's got to be the thing. And I was like, oh my God, I got to commit to this thing. I can't have any more feelings of like, I'm going to go back to working for someone else. Like this is my life path. I'm either going to succeed at it or I'm going to die trying. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I'm going to get this tattooed on my arm. So I literally have live your life with courage, love, and laughter tattooed on my arm. My very first tattoo I ever got. But it was like, for me, people always think like, when you make a decision, the fear disappears. Like, I wish that I could do these things, but it's like, it's always there. But you've got to learn that like the fear is always going to be there. But my bigger fear is getting to the end of my life and having not done this, having not tried to help people, like being in the room with my father after he passed away when I was 15 years old and realizing, because he was the first person I ever met that passed away, I'm going to be there one day. And I saw it. I was like, oh yeah, he was a dreamer and he was an amazing person, but he didn't do what he wanted to do. I am not going to live that life. I'm going to create what I want to create. And now I have all of the other fears that everyone else has, but my biggest fear is getting to the end of my life and not having tried or not having at least gone for it.
Yeah.
I do too, right? And I thought that for a long time. And it's interesting, the journey that I've had is, I always wanted to make money because I thought money was going to give me what I needed. It would give me that safety and security that I never felt as a child. And then I got to a goal that I wanted to get to, and I realized I feel exactly the same as I've always felt. I don't feel any different. I don't feel any more secure. I don't feel any happier. I don't feel any more loved. And what I realized was I thought that the achievement, the recognition from other people, the money in my bank account, the buying cool stuff would fill what I actually thought was, and consciously now know, is I thought that all of those things would fill a void that was inside of me. And what I realized is what I was searching for from the external world is actually what I was searching for myself. And so the reason why I spend so much time in silence nowadays, I'll just go out on my porch and I'll just sit there for a couple hours, is because I'm trying to fill the void that I have created through life and through patterns and through heartbreaks and through all of the things that happened in my childhood. And I'm trying to be there as the 38-year-old man for the 9-year-old boy that's still healing. And what I've realized is that none of the material things, anything externally, will ever give me what I was ever searching for. Everything I've always searched for in the external was what I've been searching for myself. And so I 100% agree with you. I don't think there's any destination we ever get to. I think I'm constantly going to overcome more things every single day. And if I live to 100, I would be so lucky, and another 62 more years. I don't expect that I'm going to get to the end of my life and be like, I figured it out. I think the beautiful thing part about it is I think that I was given this need for achievement to realize that it doesn't change anything, because the path of wanting to achieve and doing it through business and doing it through growing and all that stuff has actually lit up inside of me a spiritual journey that wouldn't have been there had I not wanted to go for those things.